Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 71 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on recognizing God's hand in my life. So, yay for day 77. Um, so, I don't know if I said 71 when I started, but I meant 77. Anyway, today is a good day. I I know that God is helping me today because I'm making my videos and because I've been getting a headache. I didn't wake up with a headache this morning, but this afternoon it started and it just continues to get worse and worse. I think it might be a little bit of lack of sleep, maybe sinuses. I don't know, maybe stress. But I'm trying to make some changes and follow through and do some things. And so I feel like I've been accomplishing things I want to do today. Some of them, maybe not all of them, but I did mail my sister's Christmas presents finally after Christmas. Should have been out like a week before Christmas, but oh well, maybe she'll get them for New Year's. Anyway, mailed, which makes me very happy. Probably cost me more to mail them to her than it did to make them, but that's okay. At least she will get them. And I'm very grateful for that too. And then of course I know that God is constantly teaching me, and He is in my life and helping me to be aware of things and situations. And today I was at work and something popped into my head, and I think it just goes to show that God has a sense of humor. Really, He does. I'm not sure I appreciate His sense of humor, but maybe it's just me thinking He has a sense of humor. But I know that God puts me where I need to be and to learn things where I'm at. And so today I was just thinking about work. I was at work and I was like, okay, my job is like super draining. For me, it is because I'm an introverted person. I don't like social settings. I can only handle so much social interaction. I'm just not the most outgoing person. I do really well with like one-on-one, having a nice friendly little conversation, but I can only handle so much of like when people are constantly needing my attention and wanting me to do things or fix things for them, and that's what my job entails. A lot of answering the phone, a lot of customer service, a lot of like every interaction. And I'm supposed to be happy and cheerful and help people, and then I feel bad because I can't always give people what they want, and I can't give them the answers that they want, and I have to be stern and I have to say no. And it's hard. It's very hard sometimes. And sometimes I can be like, okay, let me squeeze you in and I can do this and I can make this work. And sometimes they're really grateful for it. Sometimes they're really understanding, and sometimes they're just mean and ornery. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's a whole bunch of different things. So anyway, that's kind of my day in a nutshell. And I knew that I was going to be on the phones, and I knew that I was going to be bored because all of the paperwork, we have extra people helping for the holidays. So, which is nice because I get to go home early, but not nice because going home early means that I'm not getting my hours. So I won't have 40 hours by the end of the week, which is not bode well for my paycheck. So then I stress, which is not bode well for me. And so I'm just kind of like, although today I did have a little bit of work that I could do after hours, so I did get to stay. I got like an extra 10 or 15 minutes more than I thought I was going to get, but everybody else was already packed up and gone, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you can leave. My supervisor's like, you can leave as soon as you're done with whatever you're doing, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to just finish up a couple of things because I want to get my hours for the week. But she's like, okay, but just so you know, you can leave whenever, because everything's all caught up because we have extra help to catch it all up. And of course, I think this week and maybe next week, but the week after that, it's going to go back to being crazy, and we're going to have to stay and do all of the work because we won't have the extra help. So it's good to have the extra help. But I strayed completely away from my point because I'm just griping about my job, which I should not. I have a really nice job. I work with really nice people, but I don't like the whole feast or famine. It's the extremes. It's my life. I'm used to the extremes. I'm just trying to learn to find a balance and have like a steady flow instead of, overwhelming, like too much and then nothing and then too much and then nothing. So anyway, I am learning to take little breaks and to breathe and all of those things at work, but I had the crazy thoughts in my head, and I'm pretty sure that God put it there today. That's His sense of humor, which is the point I was trying to make. Anyway, that someday I want to be a published author. So I've submitted my book to Shadow Mountain Publishing, and I have to wait 12 to 16 weeks to find out if they're going to publish it or not. And then if they're not going to, then I have to decide, well, if they're not going to, I still want to publish my book. So I will, one way or the other, hopefully have a book published before the end of this next year, somewhere in 2023. Hopefully for the summer of 2023, but I don't know how long it's going to take if Shadow Mountain does it, if it'll take longer than that to get a book published or not. So, but I also need to be working on my own writing, which I haven't done, but I at least have the one in the works that will most likely get published this year. So I'm excited about that. But I was thinking about at some point, if I do become a published author, if I become recognized and famous, that random people are going to come up and they're going to want my attention. Or if I ever have to go to a book signing, I'm going to have a whole bunch of people coming up, and it's going to be like one right after another. And it's going to be where I have to be smiling and happy. And I'm grateful for all of those people that are there and signing my name to all of their books and saying, how are you? And all of this. But as nice and wonderful as that all sounds, I also know that that is emotionally and physically draining, exhausting to do that. And I know some people actually thrive on that, and it actually like buoys them up and it makes them feel really good. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to respond to a situation like that. I really don't. But it occurred to me that maybe the job that I have right now, with its kind of ebbs and flows and the demanding of attention, and some people I can please and make happy and some people not so much, and the constant ringing of the phone and people coming in, and that all of that where I have to be there and present and attention, is like, maybe this is a learning thing for me, so that when I do get published, when I do book signings, assuming I do all of those things, because those are things that I want to do. That's part of the job. It's like if you write the books and you publish the books, then you have to do book signings and you have to meet people and sign them to promote the books. It's part of the process. So, and it'll be fun to meet people, but at the same time, it scares me and it makes me nervous. So I just kind of got the impression today that maybe the job that I have right now is helping to prepare me for when that happens, so that I will have the ability I will have built up those muscles, those emotional muscles, those spiritual muscles, mental muscles, to be able to handle a large bunch of people for a long period of time, to do the writing and the interaction, and to be around all those people for book signings or book readings or whatever it is that I have to do as far as promoting my books go. And I hadn't really thought about that until today. And I was like, okay, maybe this job, instead of complaining about this job, which I do a lot of, I should just be grateful, because maybe this is exactly where God needs me to be right now. And maybe these are the lessons that I need to be learning. And maybe God is just preparing me for what's coming in the future, especially if I continue down the road to becoming a published author, because that is what I want to do. That's what I've been working towards for a couple of years now. And I just haven't quite got the courage to do it or put myself completely out there, but I'm getting closer, and having submitted a book makes it more realistic, like it's going to become my reality, which is what I want, but it scares me. And so this is kind of an opportunity, I think, for God to show me that He's put me in a place where I can learn, so that when the time comes, it won't be so scary, because I will have been doing this for quite a while at my job, and dealing with people coming in randomly and having moments where there's nobody there, and then there's like a whole line of people, and I don't have to stress out about it, and I'm learning how to handle all of that at this job. So it makes me realize that that there's a purpose for everything in my life, and that God is aware of me in my life, and that He's just giving me a different perspective about my job, and helping me to find ways to be happy and to be grateful for what I have, and grateful for what I'm learning, and grateful for the skills that I am developing, because I may need them in the future. And again, I don't know what my future holds. I don't know how that's all going to turn out, but God is playing into my little fantasy of what I want my future to be. And He's like, there's all these lessons in here that you could be learning instead of complaining, and you should be grateful. So I think He's helping me to see the positive things in my life instead of focusing on the negative things in my life, and helping me to be grateful for my job and grateful for the things that I get to learn. So I know that's kind of a lot, kind of crazy, maybe just delving into things, but I just feel like God is aware of me in that situation and mindful of me today. And I just want to be able to share that it's just, I don't think I would have made that connection on my own. So I know it's an idea that God put into my head to let me know that I'm where I need to be so that I can learn the lessons I need to prepare for things that may happen in the future, and I'm hoping will happen in the future. So I'm hoping that's a good thing. And even if it doesn't, I'm sure I'll be able to use those skills for something else, because God knows the big picture and the plan for my life way better than I do. And I'm also learning that. And things will happen in God's timing and not mine. But I also know that He knows I'm a chicken and I freak out and it's hard to put myself out there. So He's showing me that He's doing these little things to help me prepare for what He wants me to do and prepare for what I want to be able to do in my life. And maybe not in ways that I thought I was going to by any means. Never thought that's what I was going to be doing this job to help prepare for future things. But God knew what I need. God knows what I need in my life. And I know that He knows what you need in your life. And sometimes it comes in packages or jobs or things that just don't seem to make sense at the time. And but sometimes God shines that little light and says, look, there's a reason, there's a purpose for this, and you need to be grateful and you need to learn from this instead of griping and complaining about it. So I'm grateful for the little changed perspective today that God was showing me, and for helping me to follow through and work on some of my goals so that I can learn to function at this job and function in my life. And I'm just very grateful for that. So that is what I have for today. And thank you for listening to me and letting me ramble and go talk around in circles. Hopefully it made a little bit of sense. And if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude and find ways to recognize God's hand in your life too.